Block this pawn. Let's get the knight out. Develop this knight. Shall we X-ray through to the queen? Let's open up the dark square bishop. Try and get castled. Basic chess. I think we can go here because this pawn is blocking this bishop. It's not coming here for a while. Let's castle. We can take. Bishop's just like going to be hitting this here. I think what we're going to do is bait the pawn. If it's going to come, yes, okay, so that's nice. So now it's a bit airy in front of the king. So can we make anything of it? There is things like doing this sacrifice type thing, but because the knight is there, it's not going to work too well. We take, the pawn takes, and then the knight's just doing a good job, which is not right. Could go this way with the knight, and he takes, then the pawn takes, then the knight moves. Disrupts them a bit, doesn't it? I think I like the look of that. I don't mind doubling the pawns here. I know doubling the pawns is a weakness, etc. But I think I'm going to come here because there's space around the king. Maybe we can... Oh, what's happened? Right, so we were going to take with the pawn, but my brain was thinking, oh, we could take with the bishop. Taking with the pawn, the knight has to move, but then the pawn is protected by the bishop, so the knight will move here, which is making space for the bishop. It's just the queen can't come here because... Well, the queen can come here because then it's putting pressure on there, isn't it? So we're going to do this. Looking to try and squeeze the queen in here when the knight moves, which is attacking this pawn, but the king can easily defend it. So that's why I'm thinking it might not work too well. Bishop's got a nice diagonal, it's just that the queen won't be able to come and match it because the king is going to be there. But we're just trying to disrupt the king area. It's not quick and dirty tactics, trying to find a nice position in front of the king. Oh, the knight's moved. Luckily the knight doesn't have anything behind it, you know, with the bishop. So we could take the knight off the board. Just goes here and then the queen can still do this. Queen can't come here because the pawn is there. So I'm going to continue with that motion, although the pawn is going to be hitting the bishop, but we can take. Oh, he's going to get the queen off the board. That's the thing, isn't it? It's going to get the queen off the board. Going for a queen exchange. So that's out of the window, but okay, it's no problems. At least we've got a bit of dishevelment around the king. So let's play chess. Poor white square bishop now is locked in behind my own bishop. Their bishop is not doing much, so it's going to have to come back. And they're owning the file with the bishops at the minute with this open file, so there's no point the rook's trying to do a merry dance or anything around there. So what can we do? Hit this pawn, which is in front of the king. Again, trying to disrupt the king. Doesn't have to take though, I'll probably leave it. The bishop is coming and supporting, so we'll just take or push. Could push, because then it'll lean on the bishop if he doesn't take. So we'll push. So a pawn highly developed up the board in front of the king can be a bit of a problem. We hope. And the rook is down now, it's attacking this pawn. Stealth bishop is protecting, so let's just lock this bishop out of the way. It's coming here, no it can come here as well, attacking this pawn. It's got an X-ray through to our king. Our white square bishop at the minute isn't doing much, so we could just bring it back and defend. Or do we want to make the king a bit active? Options and choices. Bring the king in. Or do we have something to attack? Don't think we have anything to attack juicy just yet. King here. Bishop is just going to be sat there by itself. I think we'll bring the bishop back. noticed it needs to be doing something. So we're so focused on this area around the king, it's unreal. Now we've got a fork on 2 pieces. I sat waiting, looking at the right hand side of my face. I was thinking, well, if they push that, we're going to go there, and they did do. So that's why I could move fairly quickly with that pawn move. So they've actually taken, and so they're winning a bit of tempo. Did they take a pawn? They took a pawn, so they'll get a pawn and a bishop, and we'll get a rook. Okay, so we'll take with the rook, so we can come here and double the rooks. So this pawn is probably going to be the saving grace. The bishop needs to move, so it's probably going to have to get this pawn out of the way before we get doubled. Let's move that pawn. So we're going to go for doubling and just get the rook off the board. So scrappy opening type thing, but we had a plan of sorts. We tried to put some pressure towards the king because it was a little bit airy, but apparently it did look like we gave the opponent something to think about, and they couldn't get their pieces working together as a team, which is good for us, so I'm fairly happy. And we seem to have got the better position out of it all. So we're just going for the exchange of the rook. Doesn't have to take, obviously, but we are rook up, so I think we can take it off the board fairly safely. Like I said, this pawn looks like it's going to be the saving grace, really. Now, our dark square bishop can come here to come here, but his king's going to go there, but then we will be able to just go here. So I think we'll go with that kind of mini threat potential. Even though we won't be able to take the pawn because the king is still defending. If we did come here, yeah, maybe not, maybe. Right, so let's get moving with this rook. I think the rook wants to get higher up the board. Nothing else is there. Yeah, it wants to get higher up the board. This pawn wants to be moving to give the bishop some space. Or in fact, they could just go like this with the bishop, couldn't they? Because the king is supporting at the minute. At which point we could go like this. We'll attack this pawn, and then if the king takes, we get their bishop. So in the early part of the game, when we were looking at trying to take some pressure towards the king area, as I mentioned, I think it gave us a purpose for our team, for our pieces, which helped improve the position on the board for us, I believe anyway. So now the pushing pawns to make space, and the rook can do something. It's nothing meaty that we've got. We can attack this pawn, but he's got the bishop defending. So it's not clear as yet. Would be nice to get the rook here, but we can't get the rook here, can't get it here. What can we do? We can attack this pawn. So we'll bring the rook back now and attack the pawn because it's got no protection on. Should have seen that earlier, but I'm more to set when I've got an open file to try and get my rook as high up the board as possible. And I've missed the gold here. This will give us that position to be able to come here, and settle the king a bit. Again, he just moves to the side, so it's not anything meaty. But these small pieces of development, I've got to believe that they're improving me a step at a time, a stage at a time, a phase at a time. I've got to believe that, or else I wouldn't make a move. When we look at the evaluation, obviously it'll go, no, you shouldn't have done that. You should have done this. You should have done that. But during the game, as you can see, the opponent hasn't responded in any machine type way. They've played fairly humanly for me. It looks like they've left the game. Okay. Quick look at the analysis, and this is where we get the kicking of our lives as usual. Okay, so we talked through all the moves that we went through, and we're happy with what happened. Let's see how bad it was. At this point here, we're celebrating, thinking, well, we must be able to do something towards their king area. They bring the bishop through, we continue with the attack. So that's a positive for us at the minute. Now, whether taking with the pawn or taking with the bishop, that's the question now. So taking with the pawn, it's not dropped. Let's see what would have happened if we took with the bishop. It would have dropped. Just a little bit. Yep, okay, so the pawn is better obviously because we wanted to get some sort of reaction. But it's then how we dealt with this situation from here. This is what I'm looking at. So we took with the knight. It's not really happy with the taking with the knight. It's saying bishop e5. Where there? That was bishop takes e5. Oh, the bishop. Oh, okay. That's because we were trying to fashion some way of getting up here, really, weren't we? But this pawn was in the way. Bishop in the take. And then we can go to the h4. That's where we wanted to go. Oh, it was a tempo win. The bishop taking. Because when we took with the knight, then the pawn was on the bishop. And that lost us the tempo, and we had to take, then they could take our queen. It was a move order thing. Oh, drat. That's a nice piece of learning there. Oh. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Take with the bishop. Ah. Could it not just push down? No, because the pawn can take, still winning the tempo. To get here, I suppose. What if it doesn't take? Ooh, it gets a bit higher. Yeah, the pawn takes. Same b3. b3? Craggy. Can we not go to the queen thing here now? Oh, it could do, I suppose. But it's saying other things. It's saying f5. I wouldn't be. I'd be so focused on doing this queen move. Would that work? Oh, it's not laughing at it. Oh, it was a move order. Move order in the center of the board. That's all I really wanted to have a look at. Because you know when you know there's something, but then you don't feel you've done it right, and we didn't do it right because we had to exchange the queens. Smallest of details. That'll do for now.